Welcome to the Everything Old Skool Podcast with Toxic Magazine. I got the one, the only, the Kool DJ Red Alert. What's happening, brother?
What's good, Marquise? What's going on?
Man, everything is lovely, man. Once again, thank you for coming so late and doing your thing. And happy 50th anniversary, man.
Same to you, man. Happy anniversary to hip hop culture.
You know it. So let's get right to it, man. Let's get right to it. Now, introduce yourself for the people who might not know who you are.
Peace, everybody. I go by the name of the DJ Red Alert. One of the, I can't say, well, maybe we could say in consideration, one of the pioneers in the beginning of the hip hop culture, under the assumption of various people right along in the beginning before there was records being made, under the blueprint of Kool Herc, and now involved, well, not now, but for a while, I've been involved with doing radio, which October will be 40 years, and it's a blessing. So, just still doing what I love.
40 years on the radio. I thought it was like 30, so I'm 10 years behind.
Yeah, I started 83.
Well, that's definitely a blessing. And you mentioned you was under the umbrella of Kool Herc, because I was going to ask you, I've never seen you scratch. And I know that Herc was more like a blender or a mixer, and I see that's what you do. Well, that's what I see. I don't know, you probably scratch also, but I never really see you scratch. So is Herc the one who inspired you?
I'm going to tell you. No, I'm going to tell you the combination had been between me sneaking downtown to the discos at an early age, putting on my older brother clothes, trying to look grown up. And that was all like an after work Thursday or Friday, or on a Saturday, I would go to a Kool Herc affair. And I got to learn the difference of the style of music and the style of play. And yes, Herc, I wouldn't say that I came up under Herc. I always look at Herc as like the blueprint for all of us. That's what I would say in consideration. Because when I did not know during the time when I was going to Herc parties, various others such as Flash or AJ Rest in Peace or Mean Gene or a couple others, we was all attending to his party. We didn't know each other at that time. So we was like mentors. He was a mentor to all of us. We were the mentees, he was the mentor. And we just followed through it and inspired us to become who we are. So that's why I mentioned Herc in the beginning.
And indeed, he is the beginning. How old were you about at that time?
19.
So was Herc the first DJ you saw, hip-hop wise?
Hip-hop wise, yes.
Okay. Now, do you scratch and cut, or that's not really your style? Because I've known you for a long time, and I've never seen you do that, bro.
Actually, yes, I do cut and scratch. I'm not as accurate as many of the other DJs like DXT or Graham was it Theodore or my cousin Jazzy J. But I mean, I say average, I do the cutting and scratching. But I like to do a lot of blending and mixing.
Yeah, and that's your money maker right there too. The money, the blending and mixing, correct?
Well, by me observing, seeing how people introduce one song to another, I caught that bug by watching them, and then it inspired me to start doing the same.
I can dig it. And you said you've been on the radio for 40 years. So where did you start at? What station did you start at, and what you playing, and what station do you play on now?
Okay, I started on 98.7 KISS FM. I started that in October of 1983.
In New York City?
Yes, and now I'm involved at WBLS because, approximately 11 years ago, that 98.7 KISS FM had been closed down. It no longer exists. So that's when they brought me over to BLS. But I have been involved with other stations too. I might as well say I've been involved with all 4 urban stations in New York City, which is 98.7 KISS FM, Hot 97, Power 15, and now WBLS.
And you probably literally the only hip hop DJ to do that.
Consider it, yeah. Yes, I have.
Yeah. Did you ever think about that? So that's radio history and New York City history in itself. You are the only hip hop DJ to be at all 4 major stations in New York City. Hip hop stations, I should say.
Yeah, you know what? Let me see.
Is that accurate?
Yeah, you can say that because I touched all 4 stations. Yeah, that's true.
But you're the only one.
By far, yes.
Oh wow! Okay, you got to put that in your bio. We got to when you get your next bouquet of flowers, that has to be mentioned.
Oh yeah, I definitely will. Definitely will.
Dig it. Now, what I also wanted to ask you, man, because you now, okay, you were there from the beginning,
Hmm.
the very beginning.
I would say I started going to Kool parties. I knew he started in '73. I started going to Herc parties in '74.
74. So you from the Bronx or Harlem? Where you
I'm from
from?
Harlem. I'm from Harlem.
Oh, okay. So that makes sense then. You missed you missed a period.
I missed that period, and you know how I was inspired to start going to Kool party because I went to DeWitt Clinton High School. So as
Hmm.
I was going to DeWitt Clinton High School and making friends, everybody used to always mention about Herc. So I finally got a chance to go and check them out in '74.
I could dig it. I don't know if I asked you this, but who inspired you? Who like when you who did you see DJ say that's what I want to do?
Well, the first person I saw was a person that was in Lehman High School. I mean Lehman College. You know, Lehman College that was up there around Kingsbridge area. And
They got a concert there this week. You going?
now I'm not gonna be able to make that.
Hmm.
How I'm what I'm about to tell you that here it is. While going to high school, me and the fellas we used to always sneak out and record ourselves trying to be with the with the older people because you know that's college. So we were
Hmm.
going over to the campus. And so when we went in the lunchroom, I saw this guy that had a setup on top of the long lunchroom table, and I was like, "What is that?" But I was watching what he was doing, and how he was controlling everything, and I was hearing the sounds. I'm like, "Oh wow!" Then later on, I was sneaking downtown, and I was looking at DJs like Pete DJ Jones, Grandmaster Flowers, Maboya. I made a list of all the different ones, but I would come uptown and check out Herc. So I was getting to learn the variation of the sounds and the style at that time.
I can dig it. But when you mentioned Pete DJ Jones and them, um, wasn't that disco?
It was disco at that time. Yeah, I was sneaking downtown to go to all the discos at that time, and I was very pleased. You know, when I was hearing. You know, I'm a person that I always been open minded with open ears to listen to a little bit of everything. So I would listen to the R&B, to the dance, to the discos, to where I come uptown. Some of the stuff similar, not really, but similar to what Herc was playing, but he was playing more obscure sounds that that was differential from what I was hearing downtown. And then,
Mhm.
get to the parts, which he called the breaks, he was calling it the get down part. And when I saw that, I have seen the response how people was taking to it at the time.
I can dig it. And just for clarification, what's the DJ name again that literally inspired you first that had the equipment
Well,
set
I don't know the name of the DJ that who I saw
up?
in the college. I just saw the guy playing, but from there led me to start seeing other DJs. So you might as well say it's a combination because I was going back and forth. First, I see one person located at this college. So now I'm hearing about they got DJs like that downtown. So I'm going downtown and I'm seeing DJs downtown, a combination of them, which is
Correct.
DJ Jones, it was Flowers, it was the Together Brothers, it was trying DJ Plumber, and then come up and see Hurt. So I was being open minded, listening to a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and that's what it was.
The Together Brothers. Do you remember that movie?
Yeah, remember that very much.
Yeah, I don't, I didn't, I never known there was a group called the Together Brothers. I didn't know that
Now, for what I learned, the Together Brothers come from the Valley.
in the Bronx.
Yes,
Hmm.
that's where
So,
they from.
so since you was going back and forth to see P DJ Doze and her, is it safe to say that you DJ disco before you DJ hip hop?
Yes,
Oh, see, I didn't know that because
yes.
I just know you was hip hop, but I was a whippersnapper, so I wouldn't know.
Yes, respond me first because I was always when I save up my money and start buying equipment and then going shopping. First thing I was shopping for a lot of the disco records as well as the regular R&B records, because there was no rap records then, you
Right,
know.
correct.
But then when I start watching and hearing what Herc was playing, sometimes I sneak home to look at my brother collection and see he got any of the records where he was playing, which he had some of them. And I started learning about the certain portion of the record, which is called the break beats, which in the past used called a get down. But yes, I was inspired in the beginning with the disco records.
And I didn't know that the breaking part was called the get down part.
It was
I
called the get down part in the beginning. Yeah.
I'm learning a lot. I mean, I know a lot about hip hop, but there's always something you don't know. You can always learn if you allow
Everlasting.
yourself.
Always, always.
Now I know there's a lot of hip hoppers that did different things, like Cass DJ'd and rapped. And did you ever do any other element of hip hop? Did you ever b-boy or rap, or was always DJing?
I did a little bit of b-boy in the beginning. I did a little bit of b-boy. I wasn't like well known. I wasn't known for it, but the average cat around the way that were doing some b-boy stuff.
I could dig it, man. Wow. I didn't know that either. I know you played basketball. I just found that out not too long ago. You had a scholarship, correct?
Yeah, scholarship to I went to Hampton University.
What position did you play?
At that time, well, let me see what they call it today. They call it like the 2 and the 3, which I was a swing man. Swing man was between shooting guard, small forward.
You had ups. What was your strong part of your game?
I had some ups. I was a defender, very on alert as defending, I had some ups, I had a nice little J.
I can dig. Well, you got a scholarship, so you being humble. You did?
Hey, it was a blessing what got me to be where I'm at.
I could dig it. So you in college now, you got a scholarship, and is it safe to say you were still doing hip hop? You couldn't get it out of your bones?
No, I wasn't doing hip hop at that time. I was having hip hop on my mind because here it is, I was during the time I was in high school, I was watching these guys, and like I said, between the disco and the beginning stages of hip hop, I heard. And then by the time I come home, here come the next wave of people after Herc. Here come Flash. Here come the L Brothers. Here come AJ. Here come Bam.
Your cousin Jay,
Jay,
DSP, all of them.
Jay came up later on after Bam because Jay came up. Now I could say in a sense like up under me because I taught Jay how to play.
Oh wow, I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
There's some hip hop history here. Now, people say it was a fade, whoever those people are, but I know I was told and I heard that nobody thought it was going to last. Were you guys just living in the moment? I know you know for yourself.
We was definitely living in the moment. We had strong belief. Is there something that you so much involved with, you blinding out anything else what people are saying, what they was thinking, or how they look at you, because you enjoying what you're doing. What y'all doing that nonsense? What you doing that crap? What y'all playing that? It sound like noise, cut that nonsense, or you heard all different type of things.
And look what it's become today. It's a way of life. It's a mind state. It's thinking. It ain't hip hop. I tell people all the time, hip hop ain't what we do, is who we are.
Of course, because one thing I learned about in the culture of hip hop, we learn how to make something out of nothing. And when I'm saying making something out of nothing, because here it is, at one point in time, even during the end part of my high school, I was saying that a lot of after school centers were being shut down, evening centers. In school, they was cutting out a music class, dance class, art class. A lot of things was getting cut back. So a lot of people is idealistic upon what they want to do, but they put it in their mind and their form. So here it is, which was going on way before hip hop culture. People was doing the graffiti on the trains or on the wall. People would start learning how to do some footwork and, demonstrating what it is. A person such as Herc that was going ahead and bringing a whole different flair and different style of music that was encouraging for the B-boys to come out, and for everybody had a different lifestyle, how they articulate themselves, how they deal with each other. Because at that one point in time, like I say, I used to sneak it downtown to the discos. When you sneaking downtown, you had to be at a certain age. You had to dress accordingly, and it's like more like a working class audience. So their attitude, how they come across through the door, is not in the maturity, for where we was being around at a Kool Herc party, we being as we are, like you coming off the block, Now you have some people that was dressed up, and we used to call them the fly girls or the fly guys. But you still had that sense of you around in the area to be who you are.
Right. And I wasn't there, but through me asking questions, you can go to a Kool Herc party and spin on your head, spin on your back, but you couldn't do that downtown.
Nah, none of that, because deep down
They look
here,
at you like you was crazy.
Of course, they look at it as quote unquote ghetto street form. Get that now. We don't do none of that crap here. We get that nonsense. Get out of here.
Yeah, and that's an important point, because Herc was having parties in the Bronx, and when you say downtown, for people that don't know, that's downtown Manhattan, correct?
Lower Manhattan, that's right. In Midtown, where the discos is at.
Right. So at one time, the Bronx was the only place where you could find hip hop.
Yes.
And I'm glad that came out, because a lot of people are not aware of that. They just say New York, New York, New York. Well, the out of towners say hip hop started in New York, New York, New York. But we have to be specific. It was in the Bronx. It wasn't in Manhattan. It wasn't in Queens. It wasn't in Brooklyn. At one time, it was just in the Bronx.
Now, I will mention one thing, and I'm not taking up for it because we're out front, but it had a touch of it spilling over into Harlem. And when I'm saying to Harlem, that's the upper part of Manhattan, not all through Manhattan, but the upper part of Manhattan. So, because everybody that was hanging in the Bronx was coming to Harlem and vice versa. Like I say, I went to school in the Bronx. I'm from Harlem. But there was the people always back and forth across the bridge interacting with doing. Either you're playing ball or you're partying and what it is. So a little bit what Herc was doing, and then later on other DJs was doing, it spilled over into Harlem. And that's when other DJs were being involved.
Right. But I'm asking, but for a little time, it was only in the Bronx.
It was only in the Bronx.
Okay. I just want to be clear, because there are a lot of Harlem groups that say they're pioneers, and then there are some Harlem groups that say they're not pioneers. Now, according to the word pioneer, the meaning of the word is when you're there when something begins. If you're not there in the beginning, then you're not a pioneer. Maybe you probably got there early, not you specifically. I'm saying by the meaning of the word. Like I heard my man, I'm not going to say no names right now, but they say they're not pioneers because I was 12 years old. But they Harlem groups, and they made records. I mean, he said he was 9. I wasn't in the parties at 9. So I wasn't there in the beginning, but other people in the same group or around the same time would say they were pioneers. But you can't be a pioneer if you wasn't there in the beginning, according to the meaning of the word.
But you gotta understand, the word pioneer is used so loosely. It's used so loosely, and people don't really describe it in the right way. To each his own how they feel about it, but it's really can tell according to the standards of where you was at during the time when everything started.
Yeah, I can dig it. Now, how do you feel about today's music? Do you consider it hip hop?
Mix. I'm gonna tell you why I say mix. When we was doing it in the very beginning, people didn't understand it. People didn't say, get our nonsense out of here and leave it alone. As time go by, with the next 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40, even up to 50, I'm not taking it for anybody, I'm just saying in per se. Everything changed. Everything changed and developed to different standards. The same way, the way how ball plays in the NBA plays today, they don't play like it was in the beginning.
Center shooting 3-pointers and all of that.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta understand, the sound is different, the style is different. It had evolved into other different situations, part of the culture. But what I'm proud of, say that it carried the culture over, because if you would still been doing the same old from the very beginning, it probably wouldn't have had got that far, because when years later and you still looking like being the same old thing, they'll be like, okay, your time is up. It's over. You know, it haven't evolved, it haven't elevated, it haven't stretched to another whatever it is. My opinion.
Yeah, and your opinion is definitely valued. You read alert. You was there. So
But still, no, some people may have a debate from what I'm saying. No,
Mhm.
well, we wasn't doing like this, right? But everybody idealistic according to whatever it is in their time. So if I have somebody, and I'm in my 30s, and I have somebody in their teens looking up to me what I'm doing from what I have learned from before, they might be idealistic and trying to put a twist into their style. And what is it they want to go ahead and portray? How the way they make music, how the way they dance, how the way they style, how the way they rap, how the way they produce. Everything keep evolving from one time to another.
So what music do you prefer in the beginning? Or when I say music, I mean records, not rocking in the parties. I'm just trying to be clear for the people who are listening and not, can't really put it together. So I'm trying to be specific. The early people who made the records, late 70s, early 80s. How do you feel about that music though compared to this? Which one do you prefer? Because I'm sure you can appreciate both.
Well, I appreciate both, because I learned to be open-minded to all different styles and different time periods. I learned
Mhm.
to also, when I play for the audience, it was on the radio or as well as being in a club, I read the crowd first to see what is in front of me so I know what to give them. And if I can juggle a little bit of the past and the present and make everybody feel pleased, that what matters. But at the same time, I'm learning to be open-minded to embrace certain. I don't have to embrace everything, because I didn't embrace everything from the beginning either. There's certain things I did not like, and there's certain things I don't like now. But still in all, whatever I do like, I learn to embrace it and build with it.
I can dig that. But let me tell you, and like you said, there are different opinions, but I don't think that this type of music is hip hop according to the essence of hip hop. And I think the thing that separates this music and the music when we were coming up is the message. Because hip hop was positive, hip hop was about having fun. Hip hop was even out there talking about coming from spaceships with Jimmy Spicer and all that. It was never a hip hop didn't disrespect women. Hip hop didn't talk about taking drugs and how many people you can kill. I'm talking about as far as in the beginning. So now these young kids, do what y'all do. If that's what y'all, everybody must do their thing. So do what you do. But I don't think it's hip hop it might be rapping, but I don't think it's hip hop simply because of the message or the lack of message. I think that's what separates it.
Well, first thing is, rap is a part of hip hop. That's one thing, all right?
Correct.
So now, if you, I don't know, like you said, you wasn't there in the beginning stages, but when you was hearing certain rhymes that Melly Mel was saying, Busy B was saying, everything wasn't positive. They were still saying certain things. Hope no, Jack and Jill and up the hill took a chill pill. You know what that means. You know what I'm saying? Busy B say, where we go work it out at the ops, we work it out and shoot that sperm, that jingle jangle. So you always had them type of things, elements that was involved, but it was all for fun.
But that
Not
wasn't necessarily negative though. These dudes is killing and killing and saying I'm gonna kill you and taking drugs and disrespecting women. See
right,
that's what I mean. The negativity.
right. So what had happened now, and you can't blame the music. I had to blame society. I'm gonna tell you why I blame society.
Okay.
In the past, growing up, we knew there was bad elements and bad things going on, but it was very low key and very discreet. If I was young at the time going to high school, to me seeing somebody smoking a joint, that was the worst thing I ever seen in my life. But as it evolved, generation after generation, it became like a norm. So now here it is. There's things that and now when there bad elements was going on while I was in high school. I went to an all boy high school, G.V. Clinton. At that time I was in there was about a dozen gangs in there. So I'm looking at how gangs is moving around, interacting and such and such. So I was looking at all this drama. Now, one thing I always learned, drama always going to be around regardless. Fun and love is always going to be around. It's a balance of both, the negative and it also implement along in the music. Do you know at one point in time, the word funk was a bad word in music?
The word what?
Funk.
Funk? Oh, no, I didn't.
Yes, They say that was a derogatory word. No, but here it is when you have people such as George Clinton and Sly and various other people doing funk music. They've had their little slick stuff where they were saying in and out of it, where it wasn't so catchy. But once again, they kept it discreet. Now, in society, as everything becomes so much in the opening, remember at one point in time, you couldn't curse around no adults. You couldn't curse around no adults. You had to watch your mouth. As where everything is all out in the opening. You can't blame that from hip hop. You know, when you start saying that how these girls take upon themselves and the way they act, the way they dress and everything, you know, you're attracting the negativity. As you're attracting they go and bring out and spit out what they go to say. You can't blame that on hip hop. It's society itself. So when it came evolving from, here it is from Roxanne, where they was talking about a girl, and then here it is, you had people that was answering to it, to records within later on that you had within the 90s. I know I'm skipping over, I'm just getting the ideas what I'm saying. 90s where you have like a little Kim speaking so much of who she is, calling herself, you know, I'm the B, I'm this, I'm that, you know. I mean, people start learning to be more outspoken in their words. And that's how it evolved. So it wasn't always positive. There was always a mixture of different things along the way.
Okay, so then let me ask you this. For the artists of today and the artists of yesterday meaning I'll say to the 90s, to the 80s, to the 70s, do you think the artists of today have the substance and the skills that the artists of yesterday have? Because I think the substance and the skills dropped.
Now that I will admit, I have seen that he had lacked. Skill level had lacked. You know, if I had built up strength in one part, but in the other part, it's like it lacked. That's what I see.
Well, I agree with that. Now, you've been on the radio 40 years, man, and you know, sometimes things come with the territory. Did you ever have any haters? Oh, I mean, that you considered your friends? Stupid question.
That's a no-brainer itself.
And they even
the same thing like in anything you do in life. Here it is. You used to always hang out on the block. You be with your boy, and then all of a sudden you just pull off, and now you got yourself a decent 9 to 5. Now people hating you because you're not with them, and they see that you moving on, you moving up in life. It's always going to be haters, whatever you're involved with.
Yeah. Did you lose any friendships over it? Over your success?
No, I can't say totally. I had some people who are saying to me later on, you know what, I didn't understand. Now I respect you because they start saying things down the road, you know. You know, if I can't remember who individually, but I say generally that, you know, yeah, people was hating, but you know, things smoothed out later on.
Dig it. Now I'm not gonna keep you much longer, brother, but there's a few more things there's a few more things I do want to ask you. How did you make the transition from the civic centers or the community centers, rather, playing in the parties, to the radio? How did that happen, and who was responsible for that very moment?
We coming downtown and we start playing all these clubs and being exposed to a different audience. At the same time, we're being exposed to a different audience while, you know, there's records being made by Cosmic Force, by So Sonic Force, by the Jazzy Five. You know, here it is that by the time we got from certain clubs to the Roxy, person from 98.7 Kiss FM stepped to BAM, say that they want to incorporate what we doing with our music along with what they've been doing, because it was called the Kiss Master Mixes. So the first person they went after was Africa Islam. He missed a couple of appointments because I think he was away at the time with the Rocksteady crew. So here it is. Next person they came after was my cousin Jay, Jazzy. He did it for a couple months, even though he did not get paid, but he was getting a lot of exposure for studio work or for gigs. So that's when they came to me. So when they came to me, and I did it for like a good 3 months with no pay, but it was developing my name. As it developed my name, it took me places and established me to be where I'm at. So what I learned is that I use the radio as my office space for outside work, because they take time listening to you, hearing what you're doing, liking what you're doing, enjoying the whole thing. They may have interest, they want to book you. So that's when I start going from, like you're saying, the small spots to the major spots, because now people is from all different walks is engaging and listening to what you're doing. And then you establish yourself more and more as a business person, how to step up to the next thing.
So what do you think separated you from Jay and them? Because you was there 40 years. You say he only did it a couple of months. What do you think was the difference? What was the separation?
Well, like I said, I learned to be open-minded on to the next generation of music.
DJs need to do that too.
Huh?
I said DJs need to be that way.
Learn to be open-minded to the next generation of music. Don't be small-minded upon various things that could be promising for you down the road. I just learned to keep my ears open, and I treat it like a business. I come from the culture, but I treat it like a business, because once you get involved being hired to a corporation, which is the radio station, and put it this way, once they got your Social Security, you learn how to conduct and be mindful about how you go stretch yourself and go as far as you can.
Dig it. So when you DJ, do you have a list, or you just freestyle? Not on the radio, but when you play parties and concerts and stuff, do you freestyle it?
Well, what I do, because I remember every time before technology took place, you always had to carry records everywhere you go. Mm-hmm. When I was being hired, I always asked, what music y'all want, what you want to hear, what's the age of the audience, so I know what set of records to bring. Mm-hmm. If it may be an audience that want to hear R&B all night, it may be an audience that may want to hear house music all night, it may be all hip hop all night, or it may be a little bit of everything during the night, or it may want to add in some Caribbean music. But then when technology took place and everybody now can move around with the computer, with the laptop, with the software to apply to play, now you can bring everything, but at the same token of time, you still gonna ask so you can prepare what audience you facing. And then not only that, when you get there, you read the audience. When I say read the audience, look and see who's in front of you. Get an idea what you think they want, what they involved with, what they like. And that's when you learn to go forth. It's like saying when a ball player, he get on the court, he reading who his opponent is. He gonna see how to maneuver, how to play along with his teammates to try to win.
Reading the defense.
There you go.
I could dig it. So is it safe to say that other than your wife and kids, that hip hop is the best thing that happened to you?
Oh yes, most definitely. Hip hop gave me a little bit of everything. Hip hop gave me a good life. It put my son through college. Gave me a lovely family. lifestyle. I mean, what more can I say? It's a blessing. And also, the final part is because it's something you love to do, and you sometimes don't even look at it as work. You just look at it that you make a living off of something you love to do, and you're going to keep going forward because you have the passion to make it happen.
And not only that, man, it has to be recognized that you are a part of a lot of hip hop artists' success because you played their music on the radio.
Yes, I always been credited for so many different artists and groups along the way.
Yeah, because you made it known in New York. That's where all of these, well, that's where these certain artists started in New York, obviously, and you made them celebrities. And once things are played in New York, they're gonna start being played in other cities. So
Right.
it's like a domino effect. So you started it off. So name a few. Name a few artists that I know you're humble. You're not going to say it's because of you that they're successful, but you helped them out a lot by playing their music.
Oh man. Ooh, Boogie Down Production, the whole native tongue.
Jungle KRS-One, Boogie Down
Yeah,
Productions,
right, the whole native tongue.
Jungle Brothers, De La Soul.
Yes,
And
Tribe Called Quest.
I'm being specific for those who might not know, like, what's native tongue?
Native tongue consists of Jungle Brothers, De La Soul, Tribe Called Quest, Queen Latifah, Moni Love, and Black Sheep.
Mm-hmm. Drez.
Uh-huh.
Okay, that's just to name a few, because if you name them all, we'll be here till New Year's. You know what I mean? So yeah, so I wanted to let people recognize that you helped launch a lot of famous hip hop artists' career, and I thank you for that.
Thank you.
Because I dug the music. Now, just 5 more minutes, and I'm gonna let you be out of here.
Let's go, baby.
Top 5.
Now that's hard. That's hard. That is hard.
Yeah, that's rough, right?
That's rough.
Okay. So what is your standards for top 5 then to begin with?
Oh man, that's almost a roundabout same question.
That's hard. Because some people say impact, some people say record sales. I can't say record sales because
I'm not all about record sales.
Yeah,
I'm all about what sounds good. That's one thing I can say. I don't care if a record sold 100,000 to 1 million. If it sounds good, that's what matters to me.
Right.
And I've always been a person that judges everything that ever come my way to see if I like it or not.
I can dig it. And you definitely can't do record sales, because if that's the case, you have to say MC Hammer's one of the best ever. Coolio's one of the best ever. Vanilla Ice is one of the best ever. And we all know that ain't right. So you can't go on record sales.
No, I go by instinct what sound good.
So let me rephrase the question. Give me 5 artists that you like then.
You sure I got a roundabout same question.
Maybe we can do it in eras. Maybe we could do who you like. Did you like the Cold Crush, Fantastic, or who did you like in the 90s?
Oh, I mean, here it is. Before rap records, I was always enjoying all the groups that was doing their thing, from the Furious to the Fantastic to the Cold Crush to all that. And then within years later, I enjoyed the Run DMCs, the Houdinis, the
So who did you like better out of the pioneers? The first 5 groups: Cosmic, So Sonic, Cold Crush, Fantastic. See, they was all so lovely. It's hard to choose.
It's hard. It was also lovely. They all had their own style, sound. So like I said, I just enjoyed the music. Period. I just wasn't no favor of certain things, certain groups, or certain what it was. I respect a lot of them for what they brought to the table. Same thing like I look at it in sports. Basketball, my love. So I'm looking at everybody from the early days. I'm watching people like a Walt Frazier when I was young to looking at a Steph Curry to today. So I don't put who before who. I enjoy everything.
I respect that. Did you get what I sent you the other day?
Yes, I did.
Would you play it?
Yes.
In the party?
Yes. In the party, I got to judge it first. But what I'm doing, I'm looking forward to play it on the radio.
Oh, word?
I'm looking forward to play it on the radio because it caught my attention. I want to feel it out. and then build my interest to see if I'll give it a try in the club.
Oh well, that's love, man. I wasn't expect you to say that.
Mm-hmm. So
You know that's me, right?
yeah, I heard the tone. I heard the tone.
Oh well, thank you, man.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So
So
like I said, I want to see the momentum how I build by by me playing it on the radio, and then you sometimes go according to, like I say, for the evening at a party, you got to see who you're playing for and find the right timing when to play certain things you play.
well, if you can, give me a heads up before you throw it on the waves, if you can.
Okay.
So this is the last segment of the Everything Old Skool podcast with Shanique Bird, Toxic Magazine, and myself. I'm going to ask you 10 questions, but you got to answer them in 20 seconds.
Uh-oh.
So it's probably going to have to be a one-word answer unless you can talk real fast, like Kool D. You dig? So you ready? Summer
ready.
or winter?
Summer.
Basketball or hip hop?
I
I knew I was going to catch you on that one. I knew it.
Oh, man. Ditto.
Copy. Do you like performing close to home or traveling?
Traveling.
70s, 80s, 90s, or 2000 hip hop?
80s, 90s.
I know you lived in Atlanta or New York?
New York.
Favorite type of movies?
Ooh, man. Man, some of the best black exploitations.
Oh, I can dig it. Favorite R&B group from the 70s?
Man, I could say from the 60s into the 70s, Temptations.
I can dig it. Jump shot or handle? Which you have more
of? Jump shot.
I can dig it. Bruce Lee or hip hop do you think was more of influence in Black culture?
Yes, it was. Because here it is.
Which one? Bruce Lee or hip hop? Which one?
What, Bruce Lee or hip hop and culture?
No. Was Bruce Lee more of an influence in Black culture or hip hop? Because at one time everybody thought they knew karate once they saw a Bruce Lee movie.
It was more influence in Black culture.
Hip hop was than Bruce Lee.
Huh?
No, I'm asking. Bruce Lee
more influence in Black culture than hip hop?
Yeah, was it Bruce Lee or hip hop?
Hip hop, because look how it lasts.
Oh, deep. Okay, fruits and vegetables?
Fruits.
And your favorite borough?
The Bronx.
Okay, I could dig it. We went past 20 seconds, but that's all right. So I want to thank you again, Mr. Legend, Kool DJ Red Alert.
Respect, man.
Yeah, for taking the time out. Now, we are starting this, myself and Shanique Bird, who is the head of Toxic Magazine, who gives this platform. We're going to present you with a gift for this interview. So we're starting this now, and you're the first one. So we got to watch for you.
TikTok.
Okay.
All right.
Might mess around and find one for your wife too, because she's such a nice woman. Matter of fact, I'm gonna make sure she gets one too.
Thank you on that. Appreciate that.
So you can call me, or I'll call you, and we'll meet somewhere. We could do this. We could do it tomorrow if you want.
And
right.
May I ask, what size shirt you wear? I think I asked before that last time we was together. What size shirt you wear?
I got gravy, man, but you could give me a 2X just in case.
2X just in case? Okay.
Yeah, because I've been eating a lot of cheeseburgers, man. All right, so thank you again for being a part of the Everything Old Skool podcast. And much love, man. And tell the wife and family I said hello and thank you. And God willing, I'll see you again, man. And thanks for the love.
And respect to you and your family, okay?
Thanks. And call me, man, and we'll link tomorrow, and you'll get the gift from Toxic Magazine.
Tell your partner I said thank you.
Yes. Peace and love.
Respect.